Hey there, this is Mike and you're listening to Feeling Twisty. I'm really glad you're here. I love sharing stories that people send me, and I've gotten so many over the last couple of months. I want to thank each one of you for your emails and messages. It isn't the getting of a thing or things in these stories that thrills me. I am excited for those wins, but what I look forward to reading and hearing about is the person's willingness to turn within and explore the power of imagination, even when it doesn't seem like it's a win. It's that willingness to turn within and explore what Neville means by "you are the operant power." That's what does it for me. Today I want to share a few stories from a couple of women. The first story comes from Nadia in Pakistan. Hey Nadia. I'm going to read what she wrote to me. Nadia says, "In Pakistan, we love cricket. It's in our blood, and our biggest rival on and off the pitch is India. So the Cricket World Cup just started, and our first match was with India. And any match with India is like a life and death situation for both countries. And let me tell you, we had not won a match in a World Cup tournament against India in 29 years, until this Sunday. I knew this was big, and there were so many high emotions involved. I imagined we crushed them. Anytime someone would talk about it, I would just say, 'We're going to crush India.' And I would go into the feeling of winning the match and imagine everyone congratulating and celebrating. And guess what? We won. And not just won, it was the best we had ever played against India. After 29 years, we defeated them in a World Cup match. It was strange. I had this really strong inner knowing that this would happen. Next, Pakistan had a match with New Zealand, and this was another important one. So, again, I imagined we won, and I let it go. But the match wasn't going the way I imagined it, and I noticed I was feeling uncomfortable and angry. I stopped right there and I said, 'I'm not going to watch it anymore,' and turned off the TV and went to meet my cousin next door. The match was still playing in my head, and even though I wasn't watching it, I kept checking the score online. I realized I was not in the state of my wish fulfilled. I stopped right there again, and I asked myself, what do I really want, and how would it feel? I imagined winning the World Cup, the players holding the trophy, and I imagined my sister on video call screaming in happiness, congratulating me. That's what I wanted, for us to win and the whole country going nuts about it. I went into that feeling and it felt good. A few minutes later, the same sister called on video, smiling, and she started screaming, 'Oh my God, that's a 6. And I got up and turned on the TV. We were winning. A few minutes ago, it didn't seem like it would happen at all, but now we won. We have a few more matches coming up before we hold that trophy in our hands, but I know it will be exactly how I imagine it to be." Here's one more from Nadia. Yesterday, my daughter, who took her 11th grade exams in June, was supposed to get her results yesterday, and she was very nervous about it. Mostly about math, since she worked really hard and ended up having a terrible paper. Over the last few weeks, we would talk about her upcoming results, and she would express anxiety and fear. And I would just say to her, "Don't worry, it will be great." A few days ago, I imagined a scene of her calling me excitedly in disbelief that she got all A's, including in math. And the next few times we talked about it, I said to her, "Don't worry, I have already imagined you telling me you got all A's." Well, you know what's coming up next, right? That's exactly to the T what happened as I imagined it. She called me in disbelief, telling me her results. All A's, including math. Oh man, I am on top of the world. Thank you, Nadia. Now, the second woman, Yelena, had emailed me a couple of times earlier this month, but I wasn't able to get back with her immediately. Her daughter was sick and went to the doctor. She wasn't getting the news she wanted, so she revised the phone call from her doctor. She revised it to what she wanted to hear. And she says that even though the news she was getting wasn't what she imagined, she didn't give up. She persisted. She remained in the state of her wish fulfilled. her daughter healthy. She sent a third email to me before I had a chance to reply to her first two. Yelena said, "My daughter had her appointment today with an orthopedic surgeon. Everything, I mean everything, happened as I imagined it would. Down to me picturing myself driving home from work this evening with a smile on my face and a sigh of relief thinking, thank God it's all over." And just like that, it's over. Everything is fine. Nothing to worry about. The other doctor overreacted. She goes on to say, "I don't know how to put this in words. I always knew this worked, and it's happened a few times before, but never like this. I am so moved, so grateful, so much in awe." Isn't that wonderful? She continued getting negative news about her daughter, even though she had imagined something different. But she reminded herself that everything that was happening was bringing her to the fulfillment of her desire for her daughter's health. These two women, Nadia and Yelena, refused to accept what the external facts were telling them. They turned to the God within, imagination, and trusted that what the imaginal self heard, saw, and felt would be expressed in the physical world. The one hearing the good news of the cricket match and the exam scores and the daughter's prognosis appears to be two different people, but it's the same God doing the imagining. Call it what you would like, God, awareness, imagination. It really doesn't matter to me. They're only words that we try to come up with to define the undefinable, the indescribable. But that undefinable being is you and me. And this outward world is only showing us what we are imagining. This isn't some power or trick to pull out and use as needed. And you can. But the thing is, this is always happening. I am always expressing and having expressed to me what I am imagining. Right now, I believe I'm sitting at my computer recording an episode. So I am. Here's a wonderful quote from Neville's 1969 lecture, "All Things Are Possible." "Seated here tonight, you believe you are a man or a woman. You believe you are here. But are you willing to believe you can go beyond what your reason and senses dictate? You do not have to limit your power of belief to what your reasonable mind dictates. The choice and its limitations are entirely up to you, for all things exist in the human imagination, and it's from your imagination that your belief stems. If you go beyond the dictates of reason, it must be via your imagination. And since all things now exist there, you can, at any moment, go beyond what your reason and senses dictate. The choice and its limitations are entirely up to me and you." We love to come up with rules and frameworks, regimens to follow, social norms, expectations. Oh, it's got to be this way. Stop worrying about what the right thing to do is. Who's telling you what the right thing to do is? You are. What do you want? What do you really want? Not just something good enough. Oh, that's enough. Be bold, Neville says. Dare to assume the loveliest for yourself and for others. If the choice of a state and its limitations are entirely up to me, why would I want to bring in more things I have to follow? I don't want to create a bunch of unnecessary work. And I don't want you to either. I've gotten a number of emails and messages lately from folks who, at the time they sent them, seem to be at their end. They're telling me that their situations seem hopeless. I know that feeling, where you're trying to imagine your wish fulfilled, but you have this onslaught of thoughts, just like someone's firing them out of a machine gun at you. What about this and that? And oh God, the bank balance. And what will my husband say? What about tomorrow? There have been nights where I couldn't sleep. It's just a nonstop barrage of fear and doubt, and me creating more problems, thinking of one thing and then imagining up how that one thing can become something worse. And then now I have two things to worry about. I want to encourage you to remember the one imagining hopelessness is the same one that created and sustained the universe. The Bible tells us, "See now that I alone am He. There is no God but me. I bring death and I give life. I wound and I heal. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." The Lord is I am, the self-existent one. Your awareness of being, your imagination. Be still and know that I am God. That's Psalm 46:10. Neville calls that the first principle. Be still and experience your true nature. The most important thing to realize, you are not your problems and the fears and worries that surround them. I always say you don't need anyone else other than your own imagination. And I will always stand by that. But I know a little guidance can be a part of a beautiful bridge of incidents for you. And my friend, Dr. Anila Reddy, has a lovely, it's about an hour-long experience. On her site, she calls it a mini course, but I don't think of it as a course. It really is an experience of our true nature, the self-existent one, God, awareness, consciousness, imagination, the big cheese. I don't recommend a lot of products on here, but I know you'll get something out of her unwind experience. Check it out at anilareddy.com and click on the Work With You tab and scroll down to Unwind. Now, she doesn't need me to promote her stuff. She's doing very well. But I did this unwind experience and I absolutely loved it. And for those of you who are lost in this hurricane of fear and doubt, and it feels like everything is hopeless, and you can't even, it seems like you can't catch your breath to get to the point of imagining yourself experiencing something else, try this out. Try Unwind. I know you'll love it. I love you. I'm feeling twisty.